What it do, what it do. It's your boy Andre Sproul, and you are tuning into the Middle of the Fence podcast. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day, whether you're listening, watching, or both. As I like to say, time is the most valuable thing on this earth because we can spend it, but can't make it back. So as always, thank you for your time. And today we have a very special guest with us, Mr. Juan Gamarra. Thanks for joining.
Right.
So Juan is a entrepreneur in the real estate space, and we met a little over a year ago. About that.
No, a little bit more, I think.
A little more than that, probably closer to 2. Back at work. So Juan is a real estate agent and investor, and just really knows his shit, to say the least. And for those that have listened to previous episodes, I'm just a regular back end operations marketing person, but I know my stuff too. I know my stuff too.
A little bit. Yeah.
So if you're ready, we can just dive right into it. Let's do it. Of course. And thanks for coming on. So tap in, audience. You ready? So for those that don't know, you were actually born in Lima, Peru. Shout out Peru one time.
Let's go.
And you moved to West New York, New Jersey at 9 years old, and were placed into an English-only classroom without knowing the language, obviously. What do you remember most about the first moment of realizing you were quote-unquote different, and how did that shape your sense of identity early on?
Thank you, bro. I appreciate that that intro. What do I remember is just, growing up like in South America, it's just kind of like the culture thing. It's just Spanish, mom, grandma, uncles, like cousins, friends, and everyone just being
multi-generational living. Yep.
And definitely. Like sports was like a thing, like huge thing. Religion was a huge thing. Mm-hmm. And just getting home, playing, and like just minding your own kind of like business, right? Mm-hmm. Fast forward to like when I was 9, I just moved to West New York, New Jersey, and just 9-year-old kind of like, yeah, all right, I'm gonna go live with my father, right? Like bye mom, bye grandma, gonna make it, gonna make it happen, whatever it's worth. Like I guess I might be back, right? But moved. And I guess that kind of like taught me kind of like, all right, well, just go and just take a stab at it. What's going to happen, right? So moved with my father, my grandfather, kind of met them in a handful of times only. Mm-hmm. And being in West New York, it's straight from like, like what they'll call it, I've set up the boat, right?
Yeah, like, night and day difference.
Bro, like the cold January, I remember January 13th. Like 2002, it was like, all right, you're getting out here and like, go ahead, make it happen. My dad was over here, like, trying to put the pieces together. Like, well, now my son lives here with me now. Like, gotta make the best out of it. So started school, kind of like didn't know anyone, didn't know the rhythm, like didn't know the subject, all F's in like every subject except for math. I was well versed on that, but it was just kind of like realization of like, all right, this is life now, and do the best of it. And I think fast forward to now, that kind of like taught me like the biggest lesson possible was just like, go out there, make the best of it, get uncomfortable, and just make it happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks for sharing that, because like, I don't know, like just, I can't imagine what that's like. I was born here, although I grew up with my Argentinian side of the family, South America, you know what I mean? And of course my like dad side as well was like influential. But coming here as a child and not knowing the language and having to get used to it. And it's not like I got here at like 3 years old. So it's like I have like some time to still like grow up. Like 9, like the age of 9 is pretty like that's a pretty tough age. You know what I mean? Because you also already probably had friends at that point back in Peru and things like that. So then it's just like to leave friends and family and everything that you knew, to uproot everything and move to a totally different area, totally different language, and you still made something of it. So definitely give you credit, and just speaks to how you operate, man.
Thanks, man.
Of course.
I mean, I guess like everyone has their own kind of story. like everyone's story is going to be different. I just feel like I feel like from then, I just think about it all the time because it's like, dude, you did it already. Like whatever it is that you got going on, like it's kind of been the worst. So didn't see my mom after a couple of years, didn't go back to Peru after a couple of years. And then after that, it was just like, all right, this is life now. Like, like I gotta step up. I gotta get, gotta just,
What was like when was the first time you were able to go back after coming here at 9 years old?
I went back when I was like 13.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like 4 years later. And then it was like, like 9-year-old kid just, all right, well, you can't play soccer no more like you did every day after school. I was like, all right, well, then what can I do? You gotta, you live in a third floor building. It's like, okay, well, you can't play there. Okay, go downstairs. But where? It's like streets. Like there's cars coming by. So then, all right, let's go find a football field. Yeah, but that's closed. So it's like having to wait for all that. It was a struggle, but like. It, just like everyone, like I said, like mine was just kind of like, all right, I knew kind of like 9 years old, like, all right, this is going to teach me a lesson, right. Like let's keep going, like, so
that's what's up. And also with the West New York area, it exposed you to kids from immigrant working class households, like how you grew up in, but also kids whose parents held high level corporate jobs in New York City, right?
Yeah, bro. Like,
so when did you first notice the difference in privilege, struggle, and perspective between those two groups? And how did that awareness change how you saw yourself?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I grew up, my dad was like always there, but he will work in the evenings, and then during the day, like he'll be there. But then I would go to school, get out of school, then I would like, kind of catch up with some friends, or like, kind of like, oh, well, what are you into or whatever. I'll just hang out with them, go to their houses, see like, how their lifestyle is. Like, oh, your father's here, like, where does he work? Oh, he works in the city. Great. Like, next time he comes, like he can take us to the movies, or he can do this for that. I'm not saying my dad didn't do that, but it's just like noticing that they can do that whenever kind of like they wanted to, or they asked for it. That kind of like realized like, oh shit, man, not to discount what my dad has done, but it's just like, all right, that's pretty cool. Like I want to hang out with you more. Went from that to like, just like, being around other kids, just noticing like different, kind of like different clothing, rocking like different sneakers, different like just clothing brands. Like for me, it was like kind of like, damn, I want that. Like, what do I need to do to get that? Like I would ask for it. There'll be like those periods of like, just wait next week. But that taught me like the lesson of the value in things and like money, right? Like understanding like, okay, you gotta, what do they call it? Like, delaying gratification. That like
delayed
early
gratification.
On, like, okay, dude, like, you gotta wait until the time will do, and time will come. And then, that's kind of like when I started realizing that.
And I definitely can relate to that. And that ties directly into what this show is all about, right? Just from the affluent acres and tough terrain backgrounds. And I definitely can relate to that from the sense of, from the materialistic side of things. Looking back, it doesn't matter, obviously, but as a kid, you don't have much else going on in your world other than like your friends and what everyone is interested in or getting. So I remember even in high school and, towards the end of middle school, not being able, I would have to wait to get the latest gaming console because everyone got it as soon as it came out, but it was too much money and my family needed to spend that elsewhere. So it's like I had to wait, a year later maybe to get it, right? Or the latest Jordans, because Jordans were still hot when I was in high school. Might be showing my age a little bit, but Jordans, like people were still really on them. And, while everyone had multiple pairs, like I was still waiting to get my first real pair, you know what I mean? So it's just like looking back, it really does add to the delayed gratification portion of it. And it makes you grateful more than anything, because once you do reach the point where it's like, I can get those Jordans now. I can get the latest gaming console now. You know what I mean? Like,
remember when like Kanye, the Graduation album came out?
Yeah, fire.
And then like,
fire.
bro, like I remember that was like, that's how I kind of learned the language too. Like,
okay.
I'm not saying like that late, but you know, there will be times where like, you know, there will be rap songs, like hip hop songs that I started getting into it and like understanding, like, you know, they'll you know, they'll talk, Jay-Z will, you know, we'll talk about like Jordans and like rocking different types of clothing. And I'm like, shit, man, like one day. And then I remember when I was actually able to afford it.
Yeah.
Then it's like, oh shit, this is kind of how it feels like. But then it's like, oh shit, like, damn, all right, you know, like let's keep going. Let's keep, you know, working harder to see what else is out there that I can afford, or I can't afford now, but I gotta get work and, you know, work towards getting whatever. You know?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And also too, you said that migrating at a young age taught you how to be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
A skill that many people never develop, to be honest. And if it's something that, you know, if you're listening or watching and need to work on, definitely recommend you do it, because you can, you know, reach limits that you can't even think of. But back on track. So how has that mindset of, you know, being comfortable with being uncomfortable, right? How has that mindset helped you walk confidently into unfamiliar rooms, industries, or social circles as an adult?
I think like growing up, you know, like you're coming from a different background. That's just like, in a way, that's in your DNA. It's like wherever you go, you're gonna feel uncomfortable. So like, be aware that that's coming,
right?
And understand that, have that expectation, like whatever it's going to happen, someone's going to look at you, someone's going to say something that you don't understand. You know, life is going to throw something at you that you don't expect. So it's kind of like finding like somewhere in the middle from like having your guards up and like being like comfortable, right? Like, so it's somewhere between the lines of like, just sign up for whatever it is you want to sign up for. Like, right. Like growing up, like it was like what sport will come up. I'm like, I'm doing that. Like, I don't know how to do it. I don't know. I know I may not get in the team, but I'm gonna go and do it. Why? Because I know it's going to continue to teach me how to get uncomfortable.
And you were realizing that at like a young age?
Yeah. Like early on.
Wow.
You know, like let's just, you know, it was like trying on to like, you know, one thing during life, I signed up for like doing like art performing.
Okay.
Like, randomly. And I was like, you know, someone just told me like, oh, sign up. I was like, all right. Like I went and I started just like, okay, like, what am I doing? Like all these shining lights, like the first show, like I remember this is uncomfortable as hell, but let's do it. And I remember like getting up in the mirror, and like early on too, like I remember like getting up, talking to myself in the mirror and like telling myself like, I got this, right? Like you've done this before, or like you have all the resources, you know? So, yeah, just building that confidence yourself. You just got to find it. You know, everybody has it in them. You just got to, like, it's there. You got to get outside the comfort zone and you'll find it, you know?
Definitely. And getting outside of your comfort zone, that's something that I've embraced the last few years, to say the least, just with my habits and in general, you know? So, and getting outside of your comfort zone looks different for everybody, right? So, you know, you doing it at a early age and recognizing that like, hey, you know, this is going to make me better in some way, right? There's people that go most of their lives without even recognizing that, right? And then for me personally, like being outside of my comfort zone was, okay, you know what? If there's places or things that you want to do, go by yourself. Yeah. That's one thing. If you want to get outside of your comfort zone real quick, go to stuff by yourself. Yep. Go to stuff by yourself on your own. Yeah, no one else familiar with that you're talking to. You will learn to get outside of your comfort zone, right? So, and I think that's like, especially with the real estate space, with the type of people that, you know, we work with and interact with often. I mean, you're in rooms with people that are like millionaires or like doing very, very well for like themselves. So, you know, those are like, that's one example of like, hey, you know, you're in like a corporate type of space where you may feel like uncomfortable, but fuck that. You gotta let them know, like, this is me. This is who I am. And that's something that people can take away. I feel like regardless of who you're in a room with, if you go to stuff by yourself, whatever going outside of your comfort zone looks like, right? It's just like you just have to do it in order to grow, because if you just stay in the familiar and what's known, you're just going to live a mediocre life.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I remember my grandfather taught me one thing, just like having like regular conversations. He was telling me like you the goal is not to be someone successful, it's to be someone of value. So like, well, okay, you're gonna be uncomfortable in any situation, but like if you have some value to bring to the table, if you have something that others don't, whatever uncomfortable situation you're gonna be in, you're gonna remember that, and you're gonna be like, nah, I have what you don't have, or like I have all these values that brought me to here. Like there's no way you're bringing me down.
Yeah,
like that. I learned that, and I feel like as soon as I started implementing that or keeping that in mind, like anyone who will try to bring me down or any situation that will like can crack anyone, it was like, nah, that's. It's easy.
Yeah, and that's what happens as you continue going outside of that comfort zone. You just grow in confidence and who you are and what you stand on, knowing what you're good at, what you're not good at. You know what I mean? And it's just it's a shame, I feel like, because do you think that a lot of people struggle with that, like going out of their comfort zone and just being?
Because like a lot of people don't. I feel like they don't really accept that. Like, okay, like, if you're not good at something, accept it, accept it and like embrace it.
Right.
Like, if you're getting called out names, right? Like, okay, accept that. And what's how that kind of like energy is going to be like nothing. It's going to vanish. So like, I feel like, whatever it is, I used to be like a kid who would be like chubby, right? Like, like growing up, like I said, didn't play soccer for a while, and like I got chubby, started eating McDonald's.
American food.
American food. I came from eating like good ceviche, like pollo a la brasa and all that. Like
Peruvian chicken's really, really good. Oh
man, bro. Shout out.
Don't get me started.
Yo, so bro, coming over here and eating like McDonald's, Burger King, like I got chubby, and then like I remember getting bullied for being like chubby kid, like rocking like just different clothing, right?
Yeah.
But I remember like telling myself like, nah, like, I gotta fit in. But it's like, you try to fit in, great, that can work, but embrace who you are. Like you embrace that and accept it, it's gonna take you to the next level.
That's it, man. That's it. I mean, you really just put it so well. It's just like it really is like straight to that point. So let's shift gears here, right? So, like we mentioned to kick off the episode, you have been in the real estate space for some time now.
A little over 5 years.
Yep. And so part of the early stages that probably led to that was the fact that you spent time watching your father door knock and sell bodega and restaurant supplies and learning sales without even realizing it, like you mentioned. How did those early experiences shape the way you just go into business, communication, and just being confident?
Yeah, man. So I feel like the real estate has been for my bread and butter for the last 5 years. But even before that, I remember working corporate. It's always been sales, and it's always been like thinking outside the box. Going out there and hustle and get your business and ensure you're hitting the numbers and going above your quota, right?
Yeah.
But even before that, I remember like, being in college or graduating college, it was like, all right, I don't want a regular job. I want to go into marketing. I want to go into sales because I want to go out there and hustle. And I didn't want to do like drugs or anything like that. It's I got to go and find a product that I can sell day in and day out. So I remember I got a gig that summer. It was like selling knives. It was literally like walking. I tell this story to like my personal like circle. It was like I remember walking with a bag of knives, and like whoever is watching this, like they'll probably remember that I called them and or I sat down with them. So it was like selling knives, selling like scissors and whatever cutlery for their kitchen, and that was such a like uncomfortable product that most people don't really think to buy, or they just go to like whoever and like buy it.
Yeah.
So I remember doing that, and I remember like asking for people to at least, you don't have to buy from me, just hear me out. That was like my thing. Like,
Uh-huh.
just hear me out because that's gonna help me.
Mm-hmm.
So like people will come and like, or like people will tell me like, all right, yeah, come,
Mm-hmm.
hear me out for an hour and a half. All right,
Yeah.
great. Would you like to buy this? And then I know you
Yeah.
heard me out, but most people didn't buy, but it was like that like I wanted just to sit down and like talk to them and like go through a whole script and like close them and feel good about closing them. So I did that for a while, and I was like, okay, I want to sell more. I want to sell something better now. Then I got into life, producing insurance and all that. And I found real estate, which was kind of like everything just molded into one. I knew it was something valuable, and I knew how to use my skills, and I knew, it was the rest was history.
That's selling knives and cutlery. That's a great way to start. To transition.
I don't really share that.
Yeah, man. Thank you for opening up about that. Because that's what we're all about. Middle of the fence, being vulnerable, raw, and authentic, as possible. So, you've mentioned that ownership, especially with real estate, that it changed how you understood the American dream. How did your upbringing influence your decision to pursue real estate entrepreneurship as tools for freedom, not just for income?
I think with real estate, but also like owning your time, owning your business, that's what really the American dream is about, in my opinion. I learned that, like I said, growing up with like all the different types of cultures and different type of families, I knew that, I would see some of my friends, just their parents owning their own home and living off of that for a while. I was like, okay, I kind of need to learn how that happens, but we'll learn about that later on. So then I learned, real estate was kind of like the gateway to get there. But then I started getting deeper into it, and I was like, it's not just it. It's like understanding that your time is even more valuable than anything, which most would agree. But then it's like, okay, well, how can you buy back your time? And it's having a business, it's having your, having residual income, having, your real estate pay you on a monthly basis, or your job or your side gig, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Right. Like having that, understanding that, I think, learned that early on. When I bought my first property, I was like, okay, I don't know how this is going to work out, but I know that I'm in the right path. And then fast forward, it was like, it is. It is. Now it's like, okay, now what do I need to do? What strategy do I need to implement in order to like triple up and, scale up in a way?
Right.
Like,
definitely. Yeah, because with the ownership side of stuff, it's like people understand like, oh yeah, be like owning my own stuff, so I have my own time and I never have to work and all that. But when people, I feel like, for the ones that don't go after the things that they want in life, right? And just are okay with just, having things be like as is and following stuff to the T by the book, they view ownership to like the highest level, where it's like, the Jeff Bezos and Elon Musks of the world, but what people don't realize is that, yeah, with ownership, you buy your freedom, you buy your time, because you don't have to answer to someone. You don't have to start your job every single day at the same exact time. You decide when you start. You decide how much work that you put in, right? But people don't realize that, again, there's two sides to everything. So yeah, when you have that time, but it's a lot of work in order to have that time, But I feel like, and again, that's something that I'm actively working towards, and it's something that, like, I don't know. It's not made for everybody.
And not to knock it.
Down. Like, it's like, I feel like I'm really shitting on people like this episode, and like, no, like I really do not mean that. I really do not mean that.
I mean, you can have that. You can have that sort of like mind shift. Like, but that's what I feel like that's where the value that I bring to anyone who meets me is like, I want to bring that awareness to where it's like, well, I talk to people about selling or buying a home every day, but it's like, the moment I feel that sense of like you don't want to change, you don't want to feel uncomfortable. Let me ask you the right questions. Let me share with you the right information that's going to sort of like, just flip that switch a little bit.
Yeah.
That I know can make a big difference for you. That's what I like to do every day. It's like to my clients is like, okay, let me ask you this. Let me ask you a certain, this specific question that could probably be the changer for everything. And that's when they become uncomfortable. Like I know that throughout my interaction with a lot of people, I can challenge them. I like to challenge myself. I know I can challenge my clients. That's what I feel like I love doing. Like, getting people uncomfortable.
Yeah, and it's that and in our like world of real estate, like the term that's often used is like, if you want a seller client, they have to be a motivated seller. If you have a buyer, they have to be a motivated buyer. Where it's like, it's either like you create that mindset shift, or a real life event happens and it leaves them no choice. Then like you have to move on buying, or you have to move on selling. You know what I mean? And I think that like the mindset part, it's interesting that you just brought that up, because I don't know. I just feel like with everything that you've shared like so far, would you say that like the mindset portion is like has been the absolute biggest factor? And was it just like a culmination of just like all the moments that led up to that? Or was there like one like a specific moment that led to that switch in mindset?
I mean, the mindset, I feel like it's everything. But it's like, how do you mold that? And how you mold your mindset is by your environment, by your surroundings. Like if you're surrounding yourself with like things that are going to keep you in that mindset. Like, let's say, for example, right? Like you're not where you are in life, right? And you don't change anything around your environment. Your mindset is going to stay the same.
Right.
If you change the things around you, your mindset will change eventually, or just by nature. So I feel like, change what you can, do what you can with what you have. And fully understand that if you're not in the right mindset, it's like you got to change your environment. You got to change the things around you. If you don't do that, then like even if you feel like your mindset is changing, but is it really?
That's it right there. And to further add to that, a great place to start, people, is your habits. What do you do on an everyday basis? Because for me personally, as a kid, I knew I was always meant for like big things, like bigger and better things. Thanks, man. So but it was just a matter of like finding what exactly that path was going to be. Right. So as soon as I graduated college 2018. So like when I was 22, it was like, all right.
Yeah.
I majored in communications for TV, and I actually don't want to work in it. So I was like, I learned about it, and I actually don't want to work in it. It's like, what do I want to do with my life? So I tried to explore creative avenues and different job types and all that. But I was like, well, I want to be someone that's highly successful, right? So I just started reading books and all that, and I was like, okay, I can't start $1 million business tomorrow, I can't start a business tomorrow and it's going to automatically generate millions of dollars. If not, we all would do that, you know what I mean? But you can start with your habits, right? Like,
I think that's
that is the biggest, like what time, like for example, some of the things, what time are you waking up every day, right? How often are you scrolling on social media? Are you consistently working out and taking care of yourself diet-wise? Are you feeding your mind stuff that's going to make you better by consuming content that's like motivational and informational? Or are you someone that just wakes up, clocks in, comes home, makes dinner, watch Netflix for 3-4 hours, then you go to sleep and repeat? You know what I mean? So I think habits is where you start, and easier said than done, obviously, because that in it of itself takes a whole mindset shift. But habits is where it really, really starts. Habits is where it starts.
Like that's good to go back to your point where you're saying like reading books. I've already decided I'm not reading any more books. Like the other day I was just driving and I told my girl, I was like, I'm not reading no more books. She's like, what the heck? And like my thing was like, I need to read like 15 books this year. And then like every year I need to at least add one more. That was like stressing me out. That was frustrating me, because that was like, okay, I learned this one. I learned one thing around this book already. All right, I need to read another one. It's like, dude, you don't need to do that anymore. I kind of realized, I look back and I'm like, I like built a little shelf, you know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know, like
Yeah.
I was like, but it's like, I have the right books already. You know, you probably don't even need to read books. You probably need to choose 5 books throughout your lifetime and then just read those 5 books and then read them over every year. Every year, read them over, and then they'll stick. They'll stick the second time, third time around, they'll stick. And then from there, you start building the habits. Like the great books is like, you know, The Superior Man. You're a man. You want
the way the Superior Man.
Great.
Fire book, bro. That's
the book.
That's one of my favorite books, bro.
Second run around. That's the book. You know, there's so many others that you have to like just take your time, you know, pick the right ones. It's like, you know, and then just stick with those. You don't need to be a reader every day. Just like read them in a month, and then that's it.
Yeah, and that's great that you just like mentioned that, because I think that is the part of the habits where you can get too caught up in doing set, you know, like certain habits, and it's just like, all right, yeah, on the surface it looks great that I'm actually reading multiple books a year, because most people, I forget what the number is off the top of my head, but they don't pick up a book after they're done with school ever again. You know what I mean? So it's like, but it can backfire on you from the sense of like you get too wrapped up in hitting certain habits. And I don't know, like I'm someone that over the last 4 years I've been consistent with like going to the gym early, meditating, journaling, and I've had my lapses because I'm human. You know what I mean? I'm not a robot. You know, but like you have to realize that as you grow and evolve in life, certain habits are not going to serve you as much. So for one, like reading, I feel like we're just a bunch of bookworms right now, just stuck on reading. But you know, reading was something that like I like, you know, like 3-4 years ago I emphasized so much, and now it's like I still read, but like it's not serving me the way that it once was, because that was at the start of my journey. So I was searching for everything, but now it's like, okay, just like you mentioned, like now it's just going back to like the certain books, but then realizing that certain like habits have to stay, you know, and like in order for me to run and be wired the way
you
that
gotta
I
write
am.
a book now.
I mean, that is
right now, bro.
Hey man,
put it out there, bro.
I'm just saying, I don't want to reveal too much of the recipe, but just know that there is just stuff like that I do want to work on that branch off this, and you know, like
Humans of New York, Humans of New York,
Humans of West New York.
Yeah, just like that.
Just like that.
But it'll be great though, because a lot of people would read it, and like, you know, who knows where life will take all of us. But
hey man, and when that happens, you're the first person that I'm calling so you can get your cut for the idea. real entrepreneurs. Real entrepreneurs.
That's how it's about, bro.
All right, so this is just to switch gears here. So if a young immigrant kid or anyone growing up between two worlds is listening right now and feels pressure to change who they are to belong, what's the one truth you wish someone had told you sooner?
Damn.
I know. We went from joking and all that to getting real deep, man.
It took me on a ride right now. Kind of like my mind's like all over the place.
Yeah.
But
or like, what are just some of the things that are coming to mind, like in general?
Yeah, man. Stay true to yourself. Like, just that. Like, I feel like growing up. I said growing up like 15 times already, but it's like, you know, you are kind of like. You want to be treated a certain way, so you dress a certain way, so you like a certain things, you know, like, okay, great. I mean, that's great because you change, you evolve and all that, but like stay true to yourself. Like, I feel like a lot of people, you know, will change just to cater to others.
Absolutely.
And I felt like there was a time where I wanted to do that. Like I wanted to hang out with the cool kids. I wanted to hang out with like the you know the gang members because I'm like I want to be part of that too. Like, but it was like there was a point where like that happened. And I was like, no, that's not me. Like I'm about God. Like I'm about values. I'm about like my family. Like what am I gonna do? Like spending all my time like partying with you guys. I don't know what happened, but it was like kind of like I guess it was like growing up and then knowing that like the things that I'm interested in like was a lot of things like I was interested in like a lot of things, so it was choosing one of the less evils, right?
Yeah.
Like I knew that maybe okay I wanted to go party, but I wanted to go party with certain people, not with these people, and like I know like this whole group is going there, but I'm gonna go here.
Yeah.
And I feel like that even translated all the way to real estate too. Like, I feel like everyone, my age group, my Hispanic is going one direction. I was like, nah, I'm gonna go this direction.
Yeah.
I want to go to where you guys are partying at, but like, I want to go make money this way.
Yeah.
Like, and that's what's like, even I'm true to myself. I know who I am, like, but I'm gonna take my talents somewhere else.
Yeah. Like and just embracing being different and not following the crowd. And I don't know, that's very powerful because it's something that like I don't know, it's people find that difficult, especially when you're young, because you're trying to see where you fit in, like regardless of where you grew up, right? Like you're trying to fit in with people and crowds to see where you belong, right? So you'll do stuff to like start talking like them, start dressing like them, like when I was hanging around kids in like the suburban background, I was wearing like polos and Sperry's and all that, and looking back it's like that's not me, man. You know what I mean? Like I can throw on like a suit or button down obviously, but looking back it's like that wasn't me, and when you look back at those moments once you finally have a chance to stay true to who you are and not being afraid to be different. And one thing that my mom like emphasized with me is to be a leader and not a follower. And it's something that I knew as like a teenager and all that, but as I started living on my own, as soon as I graduated college, I've been living on my own since, and just experiencing life because of that. Like that's when it really started resonating with me. And I'm like that too. Like I've learned to be okay with being different and not doing what everyone else does. And at the end of the day, it's like people can advise you what to do or like suggest, hey, you should be doing X, Y, and Z. Okay, just because you said doesn't mean that I have to.
You don't even know my story, bro. Exactly. Don't be advising me. Don't be advising me. You haven't given your information. Like that's why like that's that kind of like I would say like just knowing that what we just said right now, right? Like people are gonna advise you all the time and tell you what to do. But how can someone give me an advice if they don't know my story, if they don't know what I do, what I've done, my background? Like as soon as all that, then come give me an advice. That's just kind of like common sense, and it's it's not so common, like but I feel like you probably hear your mom a lot, like you be a leader, not a follower. So that's what we just said. Like you're molding your mindset. You were molded to be a certain way. That's truly who you are, and then you find your own rhythm. You find your own cadence.
Yeah, and part of being like just who you are is like whatever your path is, like following it and embracing that. Yeah, whatever it looks like, because everyone's path in life is different. Obviously, everyone's story is different. But it does take a lot of courage to stay true to who you are, follow your path, and we're definitely like two people that, hey, whatever happens, I can live with the results of it because I stay true to who I am and I move accordingly, and because of that, I can live with the results. Yeah. And so like before we wrap things up, another thing that's important to us is family, obviously. So we both grew up in multi-generational households. At one point, very Latin to happen. But you mentioned, so you guys grew up in a 2-bedroom apartment, right?
Yeah.
Growing up, and But despite that, hosted large gatherings and even housing relatives when space was already tight. What did that environment teach you about resourcefulness, family responsibility, and redefining what home really means?
Damn. That's like in Spanish, like donde entra uno entran todos.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if we fit, we all fit.
That's
and
right.
Like if one person can eat all of this, we all can all eat off of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, and figuratively, like taught me that, like, bro, like, you know, come with me, like, let's go eat. You know, like let's work as a team. Like let's figure things out together.
Yeah.
That I took with me and like I implemented everywhere. Like, you know, although I don't have. Like within the real estate, I'm not like an athlete in the team or anything like that. Everything to me, it's like, okay, you do that and I do this because we're going to go further.
Yeah.
Or like lean on me because I got you on this and like you do that.
Because there's a lot of moving parts and roles and people that, you know, with every transaction.
Yeah. And I know like you just like again, you know, I hope that everybody feels like they live in a household or they live in a home where like someone is backing them up or supporting them, right? And it doesn't have to be monetary. It doesn't have to be like, you know, like taking care of you in any way. It's just like, I'm taking this decision. Can you just support me? Like, I feel like everyone, hopefully, if you're watching this, like, you feel that in your home. If not, call me. Like, we'll talk about what it is you're going on. I support you. But so if you have that, like you better you keep that and like make sure like you nurture that relationship because you don't get that a lot, not in this real world, you know.
Not at all, man. Not at all. And I just thought of my family because the love and support is like what has shown through time and time again and just never wavers from my family. And it's the thing that I'm most grateful for more than anything. And you know, you opened up about the you know, selling knives. I'm gonna open up about the love and support really quickly. So ball was life for me. I was a hooper, even though I'm 5'9", maybe like 5'10", like ball was life, you know. So even when I was playing in like the AAU circuit and like elementary and, you know, and middle school, I was always starting or first off the bench. My school that I always played for, I was always starting, playing a lot of minutes. And then once I got to college, I made the team, but I didn't play freshman year, tore my ACL, missed sophomore year, tore my other ACL right before junior year. By the time senior year came around, you know, I basically was riding the bench all 4 years. But my family would still drive 2+ hours to go to the games, to show that love and support. And you know, I can always get a little like emotional thinking about it, but I'm not gonna cry. Like, okay, you guys are not gonna catch me crying today. But you know, that moment really made me realize, because you know, it just showed that no matter what I pursued in life, like, I have that love and support. So there's nothing that I can't achieve.
You can't lose, bro.
I can't lose because of that. You know, and it's genuine. It's not because, oh, I can do this for them and, you know, create this type of avenue. It's like they love and accept me and support me for who I am. And just like you said, when you have people in your life like that, family, friends,
nurture,
significant other, cherish that shit. Man. Cherish that shit, because it's very hard to find, especially in this world. So as we wrap this up, man, how can listeners connect with you on your journeys? This is your plug to shout out your social media and anything else you want to.
Yeah, man. I'm on Instagram as Juan G Realtor. I'm an advocate for growth, for building equity for yourself. I say I help my community build equity with one property at a time. I'm you know, I practice what I preach every day. Connect, you know, follow me. Let's become some friends, and that's it. And on tour, thank you for having me here.
Of course,
I
man.
know when we first connected, I was like, that kid is special, like in a good way, man. Because like, yeah, I saw it and I was like, okay, he's over there, just head down working. I gotta get to work.
Yeah.
And then when we just chatted and you're like, I have this plan, I have this, I have that. I saw it pop up. I'm like, I know, I don't want to tell him yet, but I want to be on that. And then because it's very valuable, you know, what you're doing, and keep doing it, bro. Like, I appreciate you.
Thanks, man. That means a lot. And, thanks for your time and for being on the show. And I know that the audience definitely had a lot to take away from this. And if you didn't, then don't even tune into any more episodes, honestly. But all jokes aside, thank you guys for watching and listening to this episode. And this is just another reminder that no matter what side of the fence you grew up on, we're all more alike than we think. Juan, thanks again, man. And my name is Andre Sproul. Catch you guys next time. Peace. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode. And if you like this episode, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe here on YouTube and hit the little notification bell so you could be the first to be notified when the latest episode drops. Also, be sure to check us out on your favorite podcast streaming platform as well, Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And again, no matter what side of the fence you grew up on, we're all more alike than we think.